moaning, quit your yawning, plug your phone in. Watch out for Gibbons, he's huffing, puffing, cause his new clubs are coming. Flow the sun and must be running to the corner store to get me some papers. I need a blind
we are recording. Okay, good. Here we go. I'm gonna clap in. 3, hold on, 2, 1. Okay.
Your clap 3, 2, 1.
Read all about it. Extra. Coming from Louisville, Kentucky, and Nashville, Tennessee. This is the Southern papers, y'all.
Southern Sunday papers.
You're not that far from me right now. I think Nashville's 2 hours. You guys, after this podcast, could get in the car and get to my show.
Oh, we could leave here?
Yes.
On Easter Sunday?
Yeah. Right.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, everybody. It's my mother's favorite thing in the world is to call me on Easter Sunday early and say, it's time to rise from the dead just like Jesus did. She thinks that's hysterical.
God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you know, my wife is a Jew, and so this holiday we've always had to split it. We share it. This is a joke I started doing when I first started dating my wife. My voice is fucking froggy this morning.
You sound like me, yeah.
This is the joke I used to do is we have to split the holiday because she's Jewish and I'm Irish. So in the morning we go to her family's house and we observe Passover, and then we go to my family's house and we observe them passing out. But then I had a second version of the joke, which was first we go to my family's house and we hide the Easter eggs, and then we go to her family's house and they try to hide their disappointment.
I like that one. Yeah, exactly.
But I'll be with my mom on Easter in Florida. I'm flying in tomorrow. We're recording this on Saturday. I'm flying in on Sunday, and I'm gonna have a nice Easter dinner with her and her friends, and then spend 4 days in Florida with her.
Wow.
Just me and mom.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, why not? I see you
Good for
visiting
you.
your dad all the time, and I'm like, why don't I visit my mom more?
Yeah, no, I am trying to get down there more for sure. Yeah, I don't want any regrets there. And it's pretty nice to visit Florida. Visiting is the key, not living.
I think the whole 4 days I'm going to be there, it's going to rain every day. That's what the forecast says.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's raining here. I mean, a lot of people are like, you know, Nashville definitely gets winters. It gets snow. Not a lot, but it gets it. But basically, it's the muddy season. That's what winter is.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. We saw a lot. Olivia and I were on that tour. So where was
You
I?
went on a college tour.
Last time Right, I was in Florida about to embark on that.
Yeah.
So Olivia and I drove all over New England, and so we do all these college tours. And do you remember those?
What, taking Owen on college tours?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so we do one tour of Wesleyan, and she was great, don't get me wrong, but a freshman gave us the tour.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, you haven't even done 1 year yet here. You haven't even gotten to finals of your second semester. And also, by definition, the kids giving tours, are nerds. And don't get me wrong. They're incredibly impressive.
Right.
Every single one talked about, obviously their experience there, and then their what they want to do in life. And at Northeastern, it was a senior who gave us a tour. He already had 3 job offers. Yeah. And he's going to wind up on Wall Street in New York. So, but they also have other jobs. And I'm like, it's unbelievable. You have other jobs and you're, giving these tours, which are not short.
Yeah.
And so anyway, but someone asked her, she was just such a nerd. And someone's like, finally, Olivia's like, we have to ask about the social scene here, like, you know, how it is meeting other people, how, you know, all the parties. And so someone goes, literally this was the first question asked about it, because this was the vibe she was giving off. Finally, a parent goes, so is this a dry campus? and she's like, what do you mean? So like, is there alcohol? And she goes, oh, I mean, if you're above 21, there is alcohol. And it's like, oh my God. And you couldn't ask her about like, so then finally someone goes, well, what about partying? Like, are there parties in the dorms and everything? And she's like, oh, if your question is there peer pressure to participate? Absolutely not. And it's like, oh my God, I want to just pull over. Where's a kid who's still asleep? Take me to a dorm room where the kid is still asleep.
Yeah, where's the coffee shop where the hungover kids come in for breakfast at 1 o'clock in the afternoon? I want to talk to them.
And without fail, every single male student that gave a tour was gay, and like wildly impressive gay, like in a million activities, doing a million things. And again, that's not very representative of the average, you know, student experience at the school.
I had a gay guy hit on me last night, and he kept putting his arm around me.
Come on.
Yeah, it was kind of nice. It's nice to be hit on. Couldn't believe my age.
You've changed. You've grown a lot.
He's good. Yeah, I know. He was a good-looking young guy, and I don't know if he was impressed that I was a comedian or something, or just, you know, Louisville's not really like, you know, L.A. So I fucked him.
Mate, you have come a long way. Good for you. But the tour was good. You know what? So I was at BU, our old stomping ground.
You didn't take the tour at BU.
We didn't take a tour. I gave her a little tour, like from the car, basically.
Yeah.
And we drove out to BC as well. We had an official tour at Northeastern. Man, Northeastern has turned it around, dude.
Oh, it's like one of the hardest schools to get into in New England. Yeah, it's very impressive.
And really hard to get into.
Wait, so what happened? I told you to get in touch with John Tobin was reaching out to you. He's a good friend of mine.
He's great. I got in touch with him. It was like, I mean, we kind of didn't know our full schedule. So it was like, meanwhile, we were in Boston 24 hours. So that was all we had. We arrived at night. Oh, I took her. Oh, go. So I take Olivia. We arrive at night. We're staying in Beacon Hill, and I take her to Cheers, where I used to work.
Nice.
Bull and Finch Tavern. So I take her to Cheers and we go down, right? And I'm looking around, and you know, it's kind of the same, although they built a Cheers above it in the Hampshire House. Like this, they built like the island bar, you know, the square bar, because the Bull and Finch is not that. It's just a little pub with a standard bar against a wall. So anyway, and we're looking around, and they still have like a lot of the clippings, and I'm like, he was the head bartender, you know, this guy, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, we get this waitress, and we start talking to her, and I mentioned I used to work there, and she's just lights up, and she's like, oh my God, so do you know, you must have known like Jimmy, like he was we called him the grandpa of this place. The guy started after I worked there. Like he worked there for 30 years.
Yeah.
That was after I worked there.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, Jesus Christ, how fucking old am I, right?
Wow.
So meanwhile, I kind of thought I knew my place in terms of how old I was, but so the waitress was like, and she's like, so do you know Kathy up front? She's been here forever, and I'm like, no way, like, you know, who knows? So she goes, and I'm an old timer here too. So the waitress had worked there 10 years, and I like had to stop her, and I'm like, well, no, this is so long. I mean, I was a student when I worked here. I go, I worked here around 1988, and she's like, the year I was born.
Did you ever have to break up any fights when you worked there?
No, we had to kick out Alex Trebek.
No.
That was one.
That's
yes.
amazing.
Alex Trebek liked to drink, at least then. And he, I think, was getting in an altercation, or maybe was talking to a patron longer than the patron wanted him to, something like that. I don't want to badmouth Alex Trebek. And he kind of understood the drill, but we had to like kind of take him by the arm, and he didn't resist really, and walk him out.
I love when you're such an alcoholic that getting thrown out is just like, yep, just standard. I know the drill.
What is get the fuck out of here?
What is sexual harassment? But
what is no meant no the fourth time she said it? No, I'm kidding.
But did you ever see the clip of him interviewing a girl and she's talking about there's a certain type of music? She's got a group of friends and they all listen to this kind of music, and it's kind of like it's soulful, and it's like got self-help in it, or I forget how she described the music, and he goes, they sound like losers. And she goes, no, we're nice people. It was so fucking funny.
Oh my God. That is really funny.
So I had an amazing birthday. You missed it. You missed my birthday. You were away.
Well, I mean, I didn't forget it.
You did text me at the 11th hour, literally almost midnight.
No, that's not true at all. We have the receipts. I have them. Do you want to know the timestamp? The actual
give me
one?
the timestamp. I thought it was at the very end of the night.
You think it's in the AM? I want to hear you. You think it's in the AM or the PM?
I think it's in the PM for sure. Happy
birthday, kid. From Boston. Can you see the timestamp?
In
the AM.
Wow.
In the AM.
Yeah, but
11:40 a.m.
Yeah, which is 2:40 p.m. in Boston.
Which is what?
2:40 p.m. in Boston when you sent it. Oh, it's 11:40 in Boston? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
You did it.
So it's what is it? 7:40 in LA?
Wow. So you might have been the first.
Yeah.
So I get up, I get breakfast in bed.
God, I'm really bad at math. 8:40.
I get breakfast in bed from the family. They all got me presents, and it was very nice. And then I went off and I interviewed. My 1,000th episode of Fitz Dog Radio is next week. Not this week, but next week. It's a very big deal, so I wanted to do a special thing. I'm not revealing who the guest is yet. You know who it is. And what I did was, should I even
Can we say it's a big star?
It's a big star and a very dear friend of both of us, and maybe one of the funniest human beings in the country. So he came on
Gibbons.
and he did something very different on the podcast. We did something very different, and it was. I was so buzzed from it. I just came out of there and I was like in such a good mood. I'm driving down La Cienega, and my friend Richie calls me up to wish me happy birthday, and I answer. And you know, sometimes if you answer the phone and you do it on your phone instead of on your car dashboard, the call goes to your phone instead of the intercom. So I'm on the phone and I'm literally holding it up, trying to send it to my car, and then fucking police siren comes on.
No.
And the cop goes, he was such a douchebag because it went off and I didn't know I did anything wrong. So I'm like literally pointing to myself, and he's like, yeah, that's right. It's you. Turn your wheel to the right. There you go. And now pull over. And I'm like, oh, fuck this guy. And so he comes up to my window and he tells me I was on the phone. Whatever, I'm not going to fight it. I was on my phone. So he writes up the ticket, and then he comes back and he hands me the ticket, and I go, aren't you forgetting something? And he goes, what? I go, to wish me a happy birthday? And he goes, oh my God. He goes, the other guy wrote it up. I would have noticed. He goes, hold on. And he walks away, and then he comes back and he goes, all right, now that I'm off the camera, he goes, you're going to contest this through the mail and you're going to win. Happy birthday. And I go, thanks, brother. And he walked away.
Come
I was like,
on.
Yep. And then I stopped in at Starbucks, ordered my drink, and then I mentioned it was my birthday. Free coffee. And then I went, and my son got me a massage certificate for my birthday. I went and I got one of the best massages of my life. It was incredible. Got back.
Where was that?
The massage place on Main Street right near you in Santa Monica.
Oh, yeah, of course. Oh, well, the key to those places is finding a good name in there. 'Cause they're cheap.
Lucy. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I played doubles paddle tennis with Pete Scott and his girlfriend Liz and Owen. We had a blast. We won. And then we went to a dinner at this place called Wallflower on Rose, which is everybody's been telling me about. Had a great dinner. Then we went to the Brig, and we met up with a ton of friends. Tom O'Neill came out, and Nick, and Josh, and Rachel, and Cass, and me and JoJo got in with her fake ID, and we shot pool, and me and JoJo ran the table for a little while, and she was just like you. She was just like, she felt like such a big deal being in a bar playing pool because she was so nervous to play. And then the guys we played with were these awesome OG Venice dudes. She knew one of them from the skate park, like knew of him. She always would watch him skate. And It was just such a great night. It was awesome.
Oh, good for you, man. That's a good day and night. That sounds amazing.
Yeah. And then you got your birthday.
Pete Scott's staying in my place, by the way.
Oh, that's right. And your birthday's in 2 days. What do you got planned for your birthday? You gonna be back?
My birthday, I'm coming back the next morning, so I'm here. It's Starbucks. I have to remember to get my coffee the day before. So when I signed up for Facebook, right? Way back. I don't know when it was. When everyone did, I guess 2005. I don't even know when. I was probably a few years late. And so I sign up and it's like, all right, here's this, and it's still kind of new. I'm like, oh, here's this big social media site. What's your name? What's your address? What's your birthday? I'm like, go fuck yourself. I'm not, what am I just going to invite everyone to steal my identity? So I remember I'm like, all right, I'll bump up my birthday, down one, and I'll put my year down one or something like so anyway, my real birthday is on the 11th, but in Facebook, I put the 10th. Well, fast forward to you use Facebook to sign up for everything. So I would say more than half of the organizations out there send me happy birthday, Mike, on the 10th.
Uh-huh.
And I always have to remember to go get that free Starbucks on the 10th.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. And then went to a Dodgers game this past weekend, and it got great seats. Fucking this guy, what's his name? Thompson, hits a home run, and then a 3-run home run, and then a grand slam.
What?
It was phenomenal.
I don't even know how I missed it.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. It was like the second game of the season. And then Kershaw was pitching, and it's so great watching him throw the ball. Had a blast. That was the good part of the week. The bad part of the week was Aaron was trying to fill a prescription, and they denied her, said we had no coverage. And it turns out I've been on Cobra with the Writers Guild health insurance, and it fucking ran out, and nobody told me. So I am officially 8 days into the month. We have no health insurance. So
what?
Yep. So we have to be very careful. The whole family. I told Owen and JoJo, no sports, no fucking drinking and driving this weekend. Like, don't fuck up at all. We cannot afford something going wrong.
Yeah, no doubt. Jesus. It's so screwed up that we don't have universal health care. It's ridiculous.
I pay $3,000 a month for health insurance with the Writers Guild Cobra. So now we got to, and so now I got to find like Anthem Blue Cross insurance, which, the good thing about the Writers Guild is it covers everything and there's a low deductible. How boring is this? Anyway, so that fucked up yesterday trying to get new health insurance. Anybody have any tips on health insurance? Send them in. fitzdogradio@gmail.com.
You're probably going to get people writing in, which I don't know what it is, but about that independent worker insurance, or at least in California. They had something like that.
Really?
There was something like that, yeah.
Oh, that'd be good.
And then what else do people talk about? I wonder, that organization, if you were in the armed forces?
Her father was in the armed forces, and I think we might be eligible for that.
Well, I know there's very good rates on like car insurance and things like that.
Right.
I'm wondering about health insurance. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, if your parent was in it, I think it applies. I don't know. It's so crazy we have to scramble like that for healthcare.
I
But
know.
yeah, stay healthy. That's the solution.
Now, so you're in Nashville.
in-
What's going on in Nashville these days?
Well, you said you watched some of the proceedings when they were.
I just watched the
expelling.
speech. I watched the speech of one of the young. Is he a congressman?
Representative. Yeah. There's two. So three of them spoke. It was the two guys who were black and the older white woman.
And this is this is the U.S. Congress. These are congressmen. Or is this state level?
State.
Okay.
State level here. And, here I'll just, so I could be a little more articulate. I cut in the story here. In the wake of the school shooting in Nashville that left 6 people dead, actually left 7 people dead, 3 Democratic lawmakers took to the floor of the Republican-controlled Tennessee House chamber last week to rally for stricter gun control. On Thursday, 2 of the lawmakers, Representative Justin Jones and Justin Pearson, were expelled from the House, a dramatic act of political retribution. But the third lawmaker, Representative Gloria Johnson, survived. So when you're watching this, I'm watching it, and Tennesseans I'm watching it with are like mortified, right? And a lot of the representatives said that, like, this is embarrassing. The whole country's watching us, I'm like,
Because
this
two of
actually,
those 2 guys are black.
yeah, but it really shouldn't be about race. It really should be about this supermajority of the Republicans just dominating. And if there's a super majority of Democrats dominating, that's equally as wrong. It's like they can't even be heard. And so that's how this whole thing started last week is they came in there, and then the Republicans were basically like, okay, next order of business. And they were talking about the school shooting, and there were thousands of protesters in the chamber and outside, and you could hear their chants, like a ton of them. And they're like, wait, we're moving forward, business as usual? Like, no. And then they cut their mics. And so that's why they had the loud horn and all that stuff. So the megaphone. So anyway, one of the guys though brings it. So it's such a drastic move. I don't want to get too bogged down in it, but it was such a drastic move. Like, it's only happened twice, I think, since the Civil War that they voted someone out. And then one of the guys got up there and said, for years, because they didn't break any law, and it was like 20 or 30 seconds while they were still in session that they were chanting and demanded to be heard. So anyway, in defending himself, the guy goes, for years, one of your colleagues who was an admitted child molester sat in this chamber, no expulsion. One member sits in this chamber who was found guilty of domestic violence. No expulsion. We had a former speaker sit in this chamber who is now under federal investigation. No expulsion. We have a member still under federal investigation. No expulsion. And this is my favorite part. We had one member pee in another member's chair in this chamber. No expulsion.
That's how you mark territory in the House. Yeah, I like that.
And what they were being expelled for was speaking before being recognized.
Okay.
That's what they were expelled for. But Can you
Wow.
imagine, the Republicans made every wrong move. And I literally picture a scene like out of the movie Network. If you haven't seen Network, top 5 movie, it never leaves my top 5. But anyway, where the NRA are like, you fucking morons. Like, when the shooting happened, we flew our top guys to you and gave you the playbook. The playbook is wait till the fucking kids are in the ground and just placate, and then it disappears.
Yeah, right.
And it will it's on the front page 3 days maybe. The first 2 days, and then the day the kids are buried, and then it's never on the front page again, and you fucked it up.
Yeah.
Like, it is now on the front page. The kids are already in the fucking ground. He's like, you only had 3 dead kids. Do you know how easy this should have been? We're dealing with 25 dead kids in other cities.
Yeah.
And we get through it, and it's just business as usual. And I just imagine that meeting where these fucking stupid Republicans did every wrong move. And then it's like 3 of them are up, and they're like, maybe we should keep one. Which one do you think we should keep? How about the white one?
Yeah. Jesus.
They're just such idiots.
All right, let's get to
Anyway.
thanking somebody for the logo. First of all, last week's logo, George from Germany, GS Artworks, did a logo that people were raving about. He nailed it. I mean, if we ever land on a permanent logo, that might be one of them in the running. This week's comes from Eric Chirilanzio, who is from Bull Roar, which is another podcast you guys should check out.
Nice.
In honor of the Masters. It's us dressed as a couple of golfers. The song, Bixel.
Wait, I don't know the Masters that well. What's the snake?
No, I don't think that's the Masters, but it is us golfing. I'm not sure what that serpent is that's eating your head, but I like it.
Yeah.
B. Bixel put together a fucking flowing, rhymey, almost like a reggae calypso sounded rap. It was very cool. Good words. Good lyrics.
Good words.
Corrections coming in from Rick Schwartz. Hi, Greg. Just a quick note. On this week's Sunday papers, you used the term jet blonde to refer to your friend with very blonde hair. Jet can only be used to describe very black hair. Jet refers to the color of a type of coal. So jet blonde would be not blonde. It's also probably why Jet magazine was so named, although they officially say it's related to the speed of information they were trying to send to the black community. If your friend's hair was so blonde so as to border on white, you could use the term tow-headed. You're doing a great job. Keep it up, dudes. Your pal Rick Schwartz. Okay.
All right.
Denman just updated. For your logo, the course is Innisbrook, Copperhead course in Palm Harbor, Florida. Very well done. Look at Denman on the fucking job.
Is it a giant, real size miniature golf, like a giant miniature golf where they have a serpent like that?
Yeah.
That you have to hit the ball through around it?
Do you know this is a TV show of celebrities playing miniature golf? Like, how easy is it to sell a fucking game show these days?
Not that easy, apparently. You don't have health insurance?
Right. I know. I just sold a game show, but it's not Writers Guild. Dates coming up. I'll be at the Mohegan Sun Casino this weekend, April 13th through 15th. That's in Connecticut. Levity Live in Oxnard, April 22nd. Grand Comedy in Escondido, which is April 28th and 29th. The Rec Room in Huntington, May 12th. Blue Note in Columbia, Missouri, May 19th. Argosy Casino in Kansas City, May 20th. And then I'll be at the Mothership, Joe Rogan's Room in Austin, Texas, May 25th to the 27th. And Laugh Boston, June 16th through 17th. Go to fitzdog.com, get some tickets. Come out and see some live comedy, people.
That's fantastic. That's busy schedule, dude.
Yeah, and because I usually
busy spring.
Well, I take the summers off usually, so I try to pack it in before the summer.
Good for you.
Well, you go to clubs in the summer and there's nobody there. They're all at the beach or at the pool. You got a paper for the crinkle?
You know, there are papers here. Hold on. Let me disrupt something here. Let me
just grab like her home mortgage statement.
This is an invoice. Here we go. Let's do it.
Extra! Extra! Read all about it! Extra!
All right. Front page. Happy Easter, everybody. And Filipinos are celebrating more than anybody. Filipinos nailed to crosses despite church objection. 8 Filipinos were nailed to crosses to reenact Jesus Christ's suffering in a gory Good Friday tradition that draws thousands of devotees and tourists to the Philippines, despite being rejected by the Catholic Church. The real-life crucifixions in the farming village of San Pedro Cudud resumed after a 3-year pause due to the coronavirus pandemic. About a dozen villagers registered, but only 8 men participated, including 62-year-old sign painter Ruben and Yahe, who was nailed to a wooden cross for the 34th time in San Pedro Cudud. In a news
Do you think his hands
shortly-
are, at this point, do you think the palms of his hands are like piercings? Do you think they've created a hole and they just slides it through the nail now?
His grandkids are giving him like decorative, like, those giant ear things. And in
He
news
can
conference shortly
jerk
after his-
off without even closing his fingers.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, exactly. What is it? He puts both of them. He can use both of them right through the holes. Oh my God! In a news conference shortly after his brief crucifixion, Enyahe said he prayed for the eradication of the COVID-19 virus and the end of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, which has contributed to gas and food prices soaring worldwide. So it sounds like he really did for lower gas and food prices.
How high is the gas? Jesus Christ. And
All right,
Jesus is watching this from heaven, and he's like, guys, trying to forget the traumatic torture that killed me. Stop with the necklaces and the wall hangings of my torturous death.
I like that they took a 3-year pause because of COVID. Like, yeah, you have to be safe.
Yeah, right.
You got to be safe, guys.
I think the hardest part was trying to find a Filipino woman to play his mother who was a virgin.
Oh, wow.
What?
All right.
What?
Collateral damage. What happened?
It's a
Innocent bystander.
Stray shot goes into the crowd. I've been watching too much
And it's a slut.
I've been watching too much X-Hamster lately.
Oh, my God. All right. What do we got? Next story.
Philip Andrew Hamilton, a Republican candidate running for the Virginia State Senate, says schools simply must be indoctrinating children and poisoning their minds because his own 13-year-old child is a non-binary bisexual. Quote, I found out later on last year that the problem was much worse than just being bisexual. She came out and said, well, I'm no longer being identified as a she. I'm a they, them. It infuriates me to this day that the public education system has poisoned the mind of my own daughter. Yeah.
Is it still daughter?
Yeah. Well, no, they said that he keeps identifying her. And he said,
Yeah, she came out and said, I'm a they, them. Yeah.
yeah. And he's like, I walked in on them and another them kissing and fingering each other. That class of the school has to be dropped.
I highly doubt Mr. Hamilton thought the pronouns were worse than his daughter being bisexual.
Yeah.
I just have a feeling that the pronouns are the icing on the cake. Although maybe he hated it because now it sounds like he has more than one bi child.
He's got a crowd.
Mike, they're bi. My kid, they're bi.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think if they asked them if they would vote for their father, they'd probably be like, nah, I'm more of an independent, not really a member of either party.
Yeah. Exactly.
A Michigan
The
man.
two-party system, binary.
Yeah, I'm a member of both parties. So a Michigan man was arrested this week after authorities said he posed as a cop and unwittingly attempted to pull over an off-duty police officer. Christian Mansour, 18, of Macomb Township, who is not a police
That's
officer, was driving a BMW and flashed red and blue lights during an attempted traffic stop on an officer who was off the clock. He claimed he was a Detroit police officer, asked him for identification, and he claimed he needed to retrieve it from his car. He went back to his car and drove away. The off-duty officer followed Mansour to a trailer park in a community about 8 miles away, but lost sight of the BMW. How do you lose sight of a BMW at a trailer park?
The whole trailer park must have been like, what is this car doing here?
Right. I mean, if it was a Volvo with a different fender than the trunk, then maybe it would fit in and you'd miss it.
What do you think his game is? Was he looking for bribes? I wish the off-duty officer pulled over, didn't question him, you know what I mean, so quickly.
Well, maybe he just identifies as a cop. I mean, maybe this isn't illegal.
And also, a Detroit cop, like, did he just see the movie Beverly Hills Cop? Like, that's the whole premise, is an out-of-town Detroit cop.
Yeah, right.
I mean, they're in Michigan still, but next he's going to pose as a RoboCop.
Yeah.
He's just going to go through every cop movie. I'm Columbo. I'm Kojak.
Yeah, it turns out this is like he's an internet prankster, and this is his thing. This is his bit that he does.
Unbelievable. All right. Other news. We put this in late, but so you haven't seen Kid Rock shooting Bud Light?
No.
All right. So I come across it, right? It's a video and it's going viral. And Kid Rock is standing there and he goes, quote, "Grandpa's feeling a little frisky today. Let me say something to all you and be as clear and concise as possible." He then uses what looks like a semi-automatic rifle to shoot at and destroy 3 12-packs of Bud Light that he has set up, in front of the river, like on a picnic table. And then he goes, "Fuck Bud Light and fuck Anheuser-Busch. Have a terrific day." And then walks off. And I'm like, what the hell was just that? But the comments are hysterical. And you do see, as soon as he turns and starts shooting, another shooter off camera. This is like all of a sudden there's a Zapruder film. There's another shooter off camera with a machine gun shooting the Bud Light cans as well. And Kid Rock doesn't even hit one of them. There's only 3 of them. He doesn't even hit one of them. And so then you find out that it's they're upset. He's upset. Also, Travis Tritt made all these statements that he's removing them from the hospitality rider and all his events. And they're upset with Bud Light for hiring Dylan Mulvaney, a trans TikToker with 10 million followers, who also partnered with Kate Spade, and she was interviewed Joe Biden at the White House. Anyway, Bud Light hired her as a spokesperson. That's all that happened.
Well, gee.
And he's shooting very violently with what I don't know guns. I mean, it's basically a machine gun to me. That's like, a million rounds a second. And yeah, that's his reaction.
And he thinks the people that drink Bud Light are going to stop drinking Bud Light. Nothing will stop a Bud Light drinker from drinking Bud Light. It's what you do. It's just, you were raised to do it. I mean, I know Bud Light drinkers, they're fucking religious. You can offer them a Heineken and they'll say no. Shane Gillis drinks like 3 6-packs of that shit a day.
I'm down here and I was with our buddy Hoffman, Wheeler Walker, yesterday, and he said, that's interesting because he has a very popular bar here in town.
Who does?
Kid Rock does.
Really?
Kid Rock. Yeah, like, so this could be, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like if he kicks Anheuser-Busch out of his bar, for instance, but who knows if he'll do that. As you said, there's such a loyal drinkers.
This is so crazy. I mean, what's the problem?
But how is it bothering you that much?
I mean, it's just a trans person. It's not like should they be banned from jobs?
Also, it's like he sees the trans thing or he reads, he's like, oh, fuck Bud Light. Hey, go run out and buy as much Bud Light as you can. Go right now. I'm going to shoot him. Like, the first thing he does is support Bud Light.
You know who else is really outraged by this is Kid Rock's next door neighbor who was ducking fucking bullets all afternoon.
No shit. It's ridiculous.
All right, let's get to good news for Gibbons.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
So Dennis, as we all know, had knee surgery. He got a new knee put in, and he's finally back on his feet. He can't play golf, but he was kind enough to get stoned out of his mind and then walk the course with the rest of us last Thursday and proceed to be so annoying. All he did was tell people how to hit. He's telling me your stance is lined up so you're pointing to the right. and then yelling us for not gambling, and then saying, "Hey, how come these guys aren't waving us up?" It was like, Dennis, you're not even in the game.
So when I saw a swing of his, that was just he decided novelty to take one drive.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he hit a couple.
Yeah,
he
but
hit
I
a
also
few
saw him
shots
in
when he
the
was out.
cart too.
Yeah, I think he's back now. I think they the Penmar only has one golf cart, and it's a handicap cart. And I guess that he's got a placard, and so they let him take the cart out. And he's very excited.
With golfers, it's always their front knee that gets like very. They need operations and all. I imagine the front knee is tortured in golf if you're really playing, aggressively.
You mean
Right?
like if you're a righty, your left knee?
Yeah.
I don't know. I never thought of that.
Oh, I think with Tiger Woods too, it's the craziest pivot. That's why they say to flare it out a little bit, because you are turning, but your foot and almost all your weight is on your front leg on the follow, and you're turning.
Right. All right.
And you're practically wearing cleats and you're stuck in the ground anyway, whatever. But I'm wondering, because Gibbons is doing his left knee soon, and I think he's only done his right, and I wonder if it's a longer comeback.
Jesus.
Probably.
We wish him luck.
Hopefully.
Good luck, Dennis.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to entertainment.
You got it, pal.
All right, so very excited. Succession is back, and I got to tell you something. It is as good as any season they've had.
Don't
it's so
spoil
fucking
it.
strong.
Don't spoil it. How many have there been? 3? Is the 4th one tonight?
No, I think 3rd.
Okay, so I went to watch Succession, and I delayed it till 2 nights ago, and I started watching, and all of a sudden I'm like, keep in mind this is one of my favorite shows, and I'm like, what is going on? And I'm like, wait a minute, what? And so then I'm like, all right, hold on, let me go back to the last episode of season 3 and reacquaint myself. I'm like, what? I've never even seen this. And it's like when you fall asleep to a book and you're like, how many pages do I have to go back before I remember and recognize?
Right.
But it turned out, for some reason, I guess I was binging, caught up, and I didn't finish. It's not that I'm not forgetting. I did not finish season 3. So
That's
I
a
went
gift.
back and I watched.
That's a gift.
Oh, man, the mom's wedding.
Yes.
It's such a dark show where he outmaneuvers the kids once again.
Yeah.
But I do want to do a cut. I'm gonna ruin part of Succession for you. If I was still in late night, I would do a bit called Succession with 4-star, 5-star transportation, and it is so much black sedans to a private jet. Black sedans to a helicopter to unbelievable Mercedes vans. Like it's.
And how about the boats? How about the speedboat they
and
take
the boats
to the island?
And unbelievable boats. It's like first class transportation. It's like you could cut a montage and just it eventually speeds up and is rapid fire, and you're like, it's unbelievable how much of that this show shows.
Dude, the budget on that show and how beautiful was the cinematography over in Italy. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
I mean,
think that's what they've been doing, right?
Italy's very hot right now in TVs and movies. I just saw The Talented Mr. Ripley, which was shot in Italy. I mean, I'd seen it before, but I wanted to show it to my kids. Blew their fucking minds. They were like, Dad, that is one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life. First of all, the cast, Matt Damon, Philip Seymour Hoffman, what's her name? The skier.
The skier? Gwyneth?
Gwyneth Paltrow.
That's what we call her now. Okay.
Gwyneth Paltrow. What's his name? Oh, who's the guy who's so gorgeous? British.
Jude Law?
Jude Law.
Just a guess.
Dude,
Just a
Jude
guess.
Law is. I mean, I'm not gay, but besides the guy I fucked last night, I would drive deep into Jude Law. He was gorgeous.
He got then really beefy. I think maybe on your podcast years ago. We talked about it. He plays a thug, like a organized crime guy, and he's without his shirt a lot of it, and he's a really scrappy blue collar, and he really beefed up, and I'm like, oh no, dude, you kind of ruined your look, you know?
Yeah.
Your look is like this genteel, and in that, like just, you know, upper class, you know, anyway, but
Yeah. He looked like Sting.
He still got it, I guess.
He looked like Sting in his prime.
Right.
And but anyway, check that movie out if you haven't seen it in a while. It's just what a great script. Just a brilliant script.
Yeah, I don't remember much. I mean, I know the premise. I don't remember much about it.
It's got some characters that are just so... Philip Seymour Hoffman, when he enters the movie, he has an entrance like no character
See, I don't even remember he's in it, so I have to see it.
Oh, yeah, you got to see it. I won't ruin it. Little bit of...
and then Dave, by the way, Dave came back.
Oh, no shit,
the
really?
premiere. And then I heard the trailer I heard there's a trailer, someone told me, and there's a very funny scene where Dave's sitting there, and I have not seen it, so I'm probably massacring this, but a guy comes in like a PA with coffee, and he's like, coffee for Jew, and Dave keeps leaning forward, and he's like looking around because he thinks that's what the guy's calling him, coffee for Jew, and then an Asian guy comes and goes, oh, thanks, that's my coffee.
That's hilarious. Or it turns out that the PA is Mexican, and he's just saying coffee for you.
It could be that.
Little drama with Jason Sudeikis and Olivia Wilde. They're in the middle of custody proceedings. Wilde has formally requested that Sudeikis start paying child support, saying she has borne the lion's share of the expenses for their children. Everybody acts like... Rich people act like, you know, a child costs $1 million a day. They're not that fucking expensive. According to court docs, Wilde is claiming to have over $107,000 in monthly expenses, including $60,000 in rent. What the fuck is she renting for $60,000? In addition to $4,000 in laundry and cleaning. She also told the court she makes $40,000 a month in salary and $60,000 from Wild company income and rental property income. She has $10 million in assets. She says she's bearing 100% of the cost of the children's care when they are with me, including their food, clothing, and child care, extracurricular activities, and transportation costs, though Jason does split the cost of tuition. All right, so he's splitting the school, and he's paying for everything when they're with him. How is that not equal? That's the same amount of money.
Also, I'm surprised he makes more than her, or that she's claiming that.
Yes, I'm surprised
she's a
also.
big film director now.
Right. I'm surprised by that as well.
Also, what is she claiming she makes? $100,000. So she's claiming she makes $1.2 million.
Yeah.
I think she makes a lot more than
yes.
What? Isn't she like a model also?
Yep.
Or
she
doesn't she endorse products?
Yep. Reached for comment. Jason said, well, child support is a lot like a tip jar at a Starbucks. If you don't put any money in and they give you attitude, then they can just go fuck themselves. I was trying to do his character from what's that stupid fucking show he's on?
Yeah. Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso.
I was gonna say Sudeikis wasn't in Forrest Gump.
But that's what that character is. He's a slightly more intelligent Forrest Gump. That's what that character is. You could fill two internets with what I don't know about this cunt.
What? Ted Lasso's got a little edgy. I don't know. Have you seen Ted Lasso? I think you saw Sling Blade. $4,000 in laundry and cleaning a month. Is she? I mean, is she claiming she's mentally handicapped this way? Like, is she OCD? How many times is she cleaning these towels?
Yeah, right.
He's not responsible for that.
$4,000 in cleaning is $1,000 a week. I mean, if you had a house cleaner 5 days a week, what do you pay them? $150 a day?
Well, I mean, it's obviously depending on how many beds and rooms and all that, rugs.
Jesus.
Whatever. So make it $500 a day. Who cares? It's insane.
Yeah. All right, it's time to make America Florida.
Here we go. Maybe she is OCD. So every time she checks the stove, she has to have someone clean the handle that she touched. That adds up. Okay, I just love this headline. Naked, greased up Florida man accused of breaking into 2 homes, jumping in pool. That's a great headline. Deputies said they responded around 2 a.m. to a report of a burglary and encountered the suspect, identified as 34-year-old Blake Tokman. The Volusia County Sheriff's Office said Tokman smashed out a window to break into one home, then left and broke into another house. Deputies said they encountered Tokman at the second house. Body-worn camera video released by the Sheriff's Office shows Tokman running from the deputy, jumping in a pool, then climbing out of the pool and jumping onto a trampoline.
Yeah, you know what? Say what you will about Florida men. They have fun. You know, if you're about to sit in jail for a year or two, go out with a bang. Make the most of your remaining time.
How exciting is this story that the greased up thing isn't even detailed? Like the grease. What about the greased up part?
Yeah,
Where did that come into play?
I think he greased up because he's like, all right, I'm going to be running from the cops. When I dive in the pool, I want to slide through the water. I want to grease up so I can make my escape.
Yeah. Why are you naked, sir? Well, I didn't want to grease up my clothes. You know how hard those stains are to get out?
I think swimmers grease up. I seem to remember that.
Was he trying to break his personal best time in a stranger's pool?
Oh my God!
He has those new long. He was going to wear the new long bathing suits, for the aerodynamic through the water.
It just makes me. Florida man always makes me realize I am just not pushing myself hard enough. I am not exploring all the possibilities life has to offer. I'm complacent.
I know. Yeah, it really is. And the restraint down there. I mean, they must have just wanted to shoot at this guy.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we're moving on to sports.
Let's get to sports.
Yes, your favorite tournament.
The Masters.
Did I put this story in? Trees fall near spectators. Oh, yeah. So I saw these huge trees were down, and I was wondering, anyway, trees fall near spectators at Augusta National during Masters second round. 3 trees fell near the 17th hole during the second round of the Masters at Augusta, sending patrons scattering, with play ultimately suspended for the day due to weather. Tournament officials confirmed that nobody was injured and that the trees had been blown over by heavy winds. Well, they were strong trees. Keep in mind, they probably supported hanging bodies back when the Masters location was a slave plantation with slave quarters on the grounds. It had to be said. Strange fruit. It had to be said.
Going hard at the Masters. Come on, they're just trying to play some golf.
That's all they want to do.
I think it turned out it was Ellen Nordgren, Tiger's ex-wife.
She just in a rage. Chasing after Tiger, swinging clubs.
Yeah, he's in it, but I think he's not doing too well. I don't even know if he qualified for the weekend.
Does he Oh yeah, okay. But he's invited if you won, you're invited no matter what.
Yeah, if you've won it in the past, you're invited forever. I think if you won the U.S. Open, you're always invited. I think any of the majors. So my cousin got excluded because he's not. My cousin Denny McCarthy is one of the top golfers on the tour, but he's not. He's yet to win a tournament, and so sometimes these tournaments are invitationals, and they go by who's won. But he's often in the top 10. He just hasn't closed yet. So hopefully this year he'll win some tournaments. Model Olivia Culpo, who's fucking gorgeous, by the way, and NFL star Christian McCaffrey are engaged. The former Miss Universe, 30, posted a series of romantic photographs on her Instagram account. The photos show the San Francisco 49ers star, 26, taking a knee to propose, while Culpo has a look of joyous shock. Yeah, when he took a knee to propose, Tucker Carlson called him part of the woke mob.
Oh wow, Christian Stewart and Tiger made the cut.
Oh, there we go. Good.
Oh, ratings. They need it. Every tournament wants. McEnroe used to realize his power, that he was the draw in terms of TV. So whenever he thought something was wrong, and often he was on the right side of issues, I found, he would say that I'm not going to play your tournament. And they'd be like, whoa, no.
Oh, really?
And I mean, oh yeah. And Tiger in this, of course, I mean, he probably legitimately made the cut, but they have to be thrilled.
Yes. He has
it could become the story, and then everyone's going to be watching towards the end, or at least they'll triple their ratings for sure.
Well, the Masters was when he won his first major. He was 19 years old, and it was one of the most exciting. He blew the field away, and when he was 19, and then he had his accident, and everything went wrong. Oh no, not his accident. He had the divorce with the wife, and then he went down the shitter. And then he finally made a comeback, and his comeback was at the Masters. I think it was in like 2016, I want to say.
Yeah.
Chris, was it 2016 where he came back and won the Masters? That was pretty exciting.
18. And how many Masters did he win in his prime?
5.
You don't hesitate. And you really think it's 5?
It was 2019. And how many Masters did he win, Chris? Let's
see if Greg goes 0 for 2.
It's like if
Well,
Google...
I wasn't counting 2019. I was counting before, but it doesn't matter. We'll see.
I can't believe it was 2019 that he came back. Jesus.
I know, really. It was much more recent. Yeah.
5 is correct. Thank you very much.
I don't think so. Because I asked how many did he win in his prime? The answer seems to be 4.
Oh, I didn't hear the in his prime. I heard how many Masters did he win.
All right.
All right, let's get to international.
Yes, we will.
A serial sperm donor.
This is you, buddy.
A serial sperm donor. That sounds like somebody that jerks off in his cornflakes. Who has fathered 550 children is being sued amid accusations his prolific donations. I think I'm a prolific donator also. I've never done it for money. Increases the risk of accidental incests. The Netherlands Donnerkork Foundation is taking Jonathan Jacob Meyer to court to stop him from donating sperm and accuses him of lying about the number of children he has fathered. Yeah. The incest is going to happen because think about it. Everyone's narcissistic and everyone thinks they're good looking. And if they see somebody that looks like them, they're going to be attracted to them. So brothers and sisters are fucking all over Amsterdam right now. They're baked. They're like, man, you got a great facial structure. Great nose. Beautiful eyes.
They all look the same there. How would they even tell?
Right.
It's already a pretty close looped gene pool.
Yeah, right. Oh
Jonathan
my God.
Jacob Meyer. It sounds, isn't it Schmidt? Shouldn't that be added to the name? What's that jingle?
Jingleheimer Schmidt. His name
Yeah,
is my
exactly.
name too. And whenever
A
we
serial
go out,
s-
you can hear the people shout, "There goes John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt." Da, 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 da. Where is that from?
What's that from? Yeah, well, you tell me. You just sang the whole thing.
It's one of those things where it was a recessed memory, like being fingered by my uncle. It's down there and it's affecting me, but I have never really remembered it.
And every time you do remember it, you start singing. A serial sperm donor. It sounds like the Lucky Charms guy is just jacking off into little sample cups.
All right, let's get to this day in history.
Wow. Yeah. What do we got? You didn't have anything in there when we started the podcast. What do you got now?
We got Easter. Jesus Christ.
I can't even tell you much about Easter.
Gone for 3 days. And then a rock was put against a cave where his body was buried. And his body then was witnessed flying up into heaven. Or was it witnessed or was it just missing? Maybe it was just coyotes.
They probably
Never
have
think
footage.
of that?
It was a UFO. But the footage was just released.
Yes, it's a little grainy. It was in Area 51. But Jesus rose from the dead. It's pretty amazing. And
He was killed on Friday, right?
he was killed on Friday, which is Good Friday.
So
And-
how is it 3 days?
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah. Well, I guess maybe it was in the morning on Friday, and maybe they didn't check the cave until Sunday night. I mean, don't try to poke holes in this story, Mike.
I don't know. I mean, and the rock was moved. There was a big rock, so he couldn't do this. But okay, I got to go back. So wait, why was the rock there? Because people believed you got to put a rock on that. Okay, we crucified at least 3 guys that day, right? Weren't
Yeah.
there 2 guys next to him?
Yeah, well,
All right.
Well, there was Barabbas was up there, but then they let him down. But then there was a couple other
I
guys.
should have. I didn't know we were going here. I would have done research. I apologize. So they crucified at least 3 guys. And what was the thinking? Okay, listen. Yeah, that grave, that can even be a shallow grave. That one? No, he can fly. So you got to put a big rock on top of that one? I mean, was that the conversation?
Yeah, I think it's very possible. Well, first of all, I think according to legend, the other 2 guys, they used ropes to attach them to the cross. And with Jesus, they nailed his hand. But then one of the flaws they say with that is if you were to nail a hand into a cross, the bones all run vertically in the hand, and that eventually it would have ripped through and he would have fallen down.
Well, he had the support through the legs.
He had the leg support. But it's possible also, maybe he wasn't fully dead. They put him in the cave. He fucking pushes that rock out, disappears, shaves his beard, and is like, fuck this Messiah shit. And he lived the rest of his life as like a fisherman in Nazareth.
Yeah, with John the Baptist, who was an amazing fisherman.
The best.
Yeah, I have to look this up. I have to look up the Easter story because what happened is we're just fed it as kids. I mean, you wonder why. I mean, up till recently, especially, but there was a dominance of Irish and Jewish. Forget that we're white. Irish and Jewish writers, like not many Protestants even in those rooms, and it's like, well,
You're talking about TV writing in Hollywood?
Comedy writers, yeah.
Okay.
Comedy writers. It's like, well, we grew up with the fucking craziest stories ever that were
Right.
fed to us as truth.
Yeah.
Also, what does a bunny have to do with eggs? I mean, I know these are the oldest premises, but it is truly an absurd upbringing.
What's the deal with that?
Yeah. Who are these people who believe in Easter eggs coming out of rabbits?
Yeah.
But also, yeah, is Chris looking up, what was it, 3 days? He was killed on
Come on,
Good
Chris.
Friday.
Come on, Chris. You were doing great in the first half. Did the Ritalin run out?
Also, crucifixion was standard operating procedure by the Romans if you were a rebel. Open and check. Jesus was not special.
Right.
It was it happened to all of them. And I thought did they not nail them? Also, don't you suffocate eventually even if your hands are tied out to your sides and you're hanging? I think there's something like that.
Why would you suffocate?
Not a good way to go. It's not a good way to go.
No. All right.
But I do want to know the thinking of putting the rock on the grave. All right, what do we got? Letters?
Let's do some letters to the editor. Died Friday, rose Sunday. That's what Chris has down. Okay. Elizabeth Brown, who's a friend of the show, wrote in and said, was there a time you were going to do a dating show for Dennis? I thought some ladies did sign up. Was curious what happened. Yeah, whatever happened with that? Didn't we had a few women that responded to dating Dennis?
Well, Dennis got married. Yeah, it worked. He's a happily married man now with all his needs met.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with that, but whoever's swiping right on Dennis, you got some good times ahead. Also, for words that you can say different ways, like advertisement or advertisement, my favorite is, and you have to say it out loud, orangutan. Orangutan. A friend told me that I will always say it orangutan. Common mistake, there is no G at the end. Yeah, I've always said orangutan. How do you say it?
Yes. I think I say it that way. Orangutan.
Say it. Orangutan.
Yeah.
Orangutan.
Yeah.
But it's orangutan. Thanks, Liz. Or
All
Liz.
right.
Lies.
Yeah. Phew.
JJ said, you said ChatGPT has listened to 997 episodes of your podcast. How did it gain access to the early episodes that are behind a paywall? Or are you assuming that they're out there somewhere for free? I went to see what it was all about, and the site wanted me to create an account. As I hovered my mouse over the sign up button, I got this physical sensation in my chest like a warning. I decided not to sign in. You know about these gut feelings. Yeah, ChatGPT signing up. I mean, you think signing up for Facebook gives them info. ChatGPT, they ask you a bunch of questions and then they are fucking
I didn't find them
locked
that
into
invasive. And keep in mind, I lied to Facebook on my sign up. So I didn't find it that
It wasn't that they asked
disclosing.
that much. It's just the nature of what ChatGPT does, and giving them any information felt really weird.
Yeah, I don't remember what information they asked for. Maybe I lied to them too.
I got on
They'll know, though.
ChatGPT.
They'll know.
I got on ChatGPT and I said, respond to not paying child support as if you were Ted Lasso. And it gave me a really lame answer. So I didn't use it. But that's how I'm doing my comedy writing now.
Yeah, exactly. Is there any irony here, ChatGPT? Can you mine this for some laughs?
I guess we can do for obituaries, we could do Jesus H. Christ.
And that's all, folks.
I don't know. What do you say about that guy, huh?
I mean, he was 33 when he died. He was a
Carpenter.
carpenter. He was a union guy.
Sympathetic to whores.
Yep. He was
Sympathetic to everybody.
he was a magician, maybe the greatest magician that ever lived. He was able to walk on water, change water into wine.
He could do that thumb trick, but
He
would
did
go
the
through a
thumb
hole
trick,
in his hand.
right? He could get millions of people to believe some crazy shit.
Yeah. First bit of history written about him, by the way, like I think between 200 and 300 years after his death. So definitely an accurate depiction of him that we all know today.
Yes. I love that people go back and they look at the wording of what Jesus said about homosexuality, and they try to pull from the actual syntax of what he's saying what the meaning was when it was written 300 years after he died.
I know.
Hilarious.
At least.
Yeah. So God bless Jesus, and good luck to you up there. What if we died and it was all true. Oh my God. And you went to hell.
Yeah.
What do you think you would go to hell or heaven if you died right now?
I don't know the rules. Because, I think, although I guess everyone thinks they're a good person, but I think I'm generally like a good person, but have I sinned according to their rules? Yeah, all the time.
I think you also have to confess regularly in order to get to heaven. But I think if you haven't committed, here's what it is. If you haven't committed a mortal sin, like murder or whatever, then you go to purgatory, which is a way station. So you may be in purgatory. So you go to hell, but I don't think it's a bad hell. I think it's like you get into the night, it's like getting into the nightclub, but you're not in the VIP room. Like you're in, you suffer, but then after a certain period of time, then you get to go to heain. Which might be more fun just to experience that for a little while.
And this whole conundrum, is famously called Pascal's wager. And it's a philosophical argument presented, I called it up here on Wikipedia, by the 17th century French mathematician who it posits that human beings wager with their lives that God either exists or does not. He argues a rational person should live as though God exists and seek to believe in God. If God does not exist, does not exist, such a person will have only a finite loss, some pleasures, some luxury, whereas if God does exist, they stand to receive infinite gains as presented with eternity and heaven and avoid infinite losses, the guy poking you with a goddamn pitchfork in hell. So it's a very famous premise, but imagine believing in God just for that. For the selfish gain?
There's the whole thing about the last shall be first and the first shall be last. So you can, on your deathbed, ask for forgiveness, receive it, and go to the front of the line.
Yeah. All right. I'll wait till then.
I wonder, but nowadays, with social media, God is going to go back and check some shit out. You're going to stand at the pearly gates, and Peter's going to have a laptop, and he's going to review some of your podcast and some of the shit you've said about him.
So much of religion is so ego-based and so selfish and self-centered. Oh God, what about when he gets to my teens? Yeah, God is gonna spend all that time on you. He's gonna be like, wait a minute, remember when you were 24? Isn't there a giant line behind me? Don't we have to keep this moving?
What if you die and you go up to the pearly gates and standing there at the entrance is Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny, and you're like, oh, what? What? You guys you're really part of it too?
And everyone goes to hell for stopping believing in them.
Yeah.
Santa sends all of us to hell.
All right.
There's
the
not
tooth
one
fairy
person
is there.
Yeah. Maybe mentally disabled people. Mentally disabled people are the only ones in heaven because they kept believing in Santa.
And they just get blowjobs from Marilyn Monroe every day. That's what heaven is.
No, right. And it truly is the happiest place on earth because there's just mentally disabled people up there who are ecstatic.
Yeah.
And they're so happy.
Oh, my God.
I like that heaven.
All right, let's cheer up. After Jesus' death, let's cheer up with some Sunday funnies.
Here we go. All right.
All right. In Dilbert this week, Dilbert is at he's got is that a tiki torch? He's got a tiki torch, and he's in the office with a tiki torch. And everybody's saying, Dilbert, why is there a special celebration today? And he said, no, but there's a Black Lives Matter protest going on down the street, and I thought we could go check it out. And his boss goes, Dilbert, you didn't finish that report you were supposed to do. And Dilbert goes, I hate black people. I don't get the punchline.
Is that how that one ended?
I don't get the punchline.
That was an abrupt ending. With quite a punch, actually. Man, Dilbert's gone off the rails.
Yeah, he really has. Hagar the Horrible. Hagar and Lucky are sitting at a table. And Lucky says, my relationship is getting serious. Hagar goes, are you talking about the mermaid? And Lucky says, yes, I'm ready to take it to the next level. Hagar goes, good luck with that. And I guess what he means by that is the next level is he's going to rape her.
And maybe it's difficult. You know, she's so fast in the water to rape her.
That's right. He should probably cover himself
I think
up.
That's probably.
He should grease himself up if he's going to catch her. If he's going to get lucky.
I wonder with a mermaid if Lucky's like, hey, smell my finger, like to his friends. But it's like, smell my everything. This fucking chick's a fish.
Yeah, you could just get to second base. All you have to do is get to second base with a mermaid. You can go smell my finger. Yeah.
Yeah. Smell everything, man. Are you kidding me?
Oh. How do you fuck a mermaid? Her legs are stuck together. I wonder if it's just anal with mermaids.
Well, it's perfect for these guys because with all the raping, I think most women's legs are just slammed shut, but they deal. They deal.
Right. Yeah, in those days, you want to be a mermaid. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Far Side. It's a laboratory, and we see the two scientists at work, and there's beakers, and they're making stuff, and you can see the magnifying glass and all that. And the caption's like, on October 23rd, 1927, 3 days after its invention, the first rubber band is tested. And you see one of the scientists has it on his finger and pulls it all the way back like a school kid would and is aiming it right at the face of the other scientist. I mean, that's all we did in class sometimes when I was in grammar school. Also, the one where you spread it out between two fingers and you place it on the skin of your friend and you pull it back and just snap it on their skin.
Yeah. We had a neighbor, the Mahoneys, and they had their son delivered newspapers. And so their garage, back then you would get the newspapers delivered in a stack, and then you had to fold them in half and put a rubber band on each one. And so we had these giant bags of rubber bands in the garage, and we used to have these rubber band shooting wars. Oh, those were the days.
And then, of course, you get a little older, or word trickles down from the upper grades like, no. Unhinge a paper clip and wrap it around. And I mean, I know I sound like the teachers I never believed, but all of them would say like, you're going to take an eye out. And it's like, they were 100% right.
Yeah, right. It's like Kevin Meaney.
I mean, that's
you're going to take out an eye with that. That's not right. Shooting a paper clip. Someone's going to lose an eye.
We're not rubber band people.
All right, so Blondie is, as always, in this fucking patriarchal strip at the stove with an apron on, stirring a pot. And Dagwood walks in with his briefcase and his stupid bow tie. And she goes, my goodness, someone cut class early. And he goes, the boss told me since I was all caught up with my work, I might as well take off. He said, also, I could show up a little late tomorrow, but I'm going in early. I know entrapment when I hear it. And Blondie just stands there looking at him saying, what happened to my life? What happened to my potential? 18 guys asked me to the high school prom. And I've got this guy who's so mediocre in mid-management at this office that he's excited and nervous about getting an hour off from work. I should be with an entrepreneur who's flying me around on private jets.
Yes, you should.
Look at that rack.
Yeah. Well, he's going to be in mentally handicapped heaven. She has that going for her.
That's right. Maybe he can get her in.
He's going to be. He believes in Santa still.
Yeah. And her hell already started. She's living in it with that fucking apron.
That is right. She already failed the test.
All right, listen, folks.
This is it.
Don't forget this weekend. Come on out to comedy at a casino in Connecticut called Mohegan Sun. Also, anything you want to promote, Mike?
Yeah, I guess I have nothing to do with it. I wish I did. The new season of Dave, which I have not started watching yet, but I guess there's one episode out.
You know, he lives down the street from me. I see him walking around all the time in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Dave.
No, I think he's incredibly funny.
He's really, and he works his ass off. And, of course, our friend Andrew Santino is on the show.
Yup. That and Succession.
Oh, maybe let's do a call with him.
me.
Let's do a call with him next week, and he can promote the new season. He loves coming on. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Promoting that for next week. Andrew Santino on the show. All right. Thanks to Midcoast Media, Beth and Chris and John and Key, and everybody does a fine job producing and editing the show and uploading it and social mediaing it and doing all that stuff. And I guess we'll catch you guys next week.
Take it, eesh.
Take it eesh.
Wake up, it's Sunday. Early in the morning, quit your yawning, plug your phone in. Watch out for Gibbons, he's huffing, puffing, cause his new clubs are coming. Flo the sun and must be running to the corner store to get me some papers. I need a blondie, it's so beyond me, Dad would be ornery. It's been a long week, it's time to wrap it up with Mike and Greg. You lose your blues, they got the news, fake factors who is sometimes true.